Sweet. So, in other videos of mine, I said that I didn't have a problem with this amp getting hot because a lot of people said it got hot and blew up on them. I haven't had a problem with it getting hot until now that it's summertime. I put it to the test the other day on my way to work, and which is a couple hours away from where I live. And when I got to work, I put my hand on it, about burnt my hand off, and I wiped it off with a wet cloth, and steam just rolled off of it. So obviously it's not warm today because I have my coat on again, and it feels like summer will never actually get here, but it just started to be spring. Anyway, I have a solution, kinda, I guess. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hook this bad boy up. I had this on my first amp, and them screw holes right there, there's like silicone. I had it just sitting directly on top of it, but it's not gonna mount very well like that, and I think it might get too hot. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna take this board, can't see it all, and cut it in half and put it like legs. And I'm going to put this board over top of it and like drill the, cut the middle of it out, most of it, and mount that fan in the middle of it. And then I'm going to hook it all up. Now hooking up a fan's pretty easy. There's just two wires, a positive and a negative. And all you have to do is splice it into your power and ground wire, just like a crossover. You just... if you can see, I got little blue wires running in where my positive and my negative is. That's not all remote wires. There's only two remote wires there. And two other wires are a power and a ground for my crossover. I just use blue wire because I got a bunch of it. But since I have so many wires going in there, what I'm going to do is, since I got power going to my crossover, I'm just going to stick this little guy up in there, if you can see it. I know it's kind of dark, but I'm gonna splice him in with those guys. I'll show you when I'm done. I'm sure you know what it looks like with the guy cutting wood, but I'm gonna get this all cut out and drill some holes in my board here and mount it over top, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done, and you'll have an idea of what a fan looks like running on your amp. And they run pretty fast. You can get them at Radio Shack. I'm not sure what they cost because this one came with my first amp, so they're not very expensive, but they run really powerful, really fast, and can move a little bit of air, so maybe it'll keep my amp cooler and it won't overheat and burn up on me. So I'll get back with you here when I get this all cut up and set up and all put together. Well, it doesn't get much more ghetto looking than this. I guess you can kind of see that. I left that middle right there for support. Got the legs. That will be standing over top of my amp. And I got this guy screwed in there. The wire's going to come out the back. And that sucker's going to be blowing down on my amp. I ain't no Bob the Builder, but I don't compete in any shows because I don't think my two 10-year-old 12s or an 800 watt amp is going to beat anybody. Maybe, I guess, but nobody in a big car show or DB show. So screw it. So here's what the final product looks like. Ghetto as hell. Fan running over top the amp, but and I ran the fan wires, positive and the negative right there. I ran them over here to my crossover. The only difference is you can't hook your power to your power and your ground to your ground when you do it like this, because when you do it, it turns the fan on automatically. So you have to hook your ground to your ground and your power to your remote. See, I got remote, ground power. I got the power to the fan running in this remote over here, hooked in with the crossover, and the ground in the ground as normal. And then when we turn it on, the remote comes on here, and it tells the fan to kick on. There's only one problem. I put the fan on backwards. Yeah, tell me about it. So I forgot that needs to be turned over. Not a huge deal, except for I can't stick my drill in there to get them screws out real easy, so I'm gonna have to go find a little screwdriver. There's a little screwdriver right there. My stinky 5-year-old.
You're silly, Daddy.
My second-hand woman. I'll be back when I got it working right. Stay with me. Oh yeah. Alright, so check it out. So like, that kind of sucked to get mounted on there, because I had to bring screws up from underneath this guy up into this board, and I did it all in my trunk because I didn't want to unhook all my wires. So once I found out that was mounted on backwards, I had to figure out how to get a screwdriver between that and my amp. So what did I do? Found this handy little Duracell screwdriver. Thank God when I buy batteries and they come with little tools, I don't throw none of the tools away. But I got boop, power on there, Mr. Blue Light kicking over there, and my fan, I don't know how well you can see. My fan's kicking. Check it out. I'm gonna end up frying myself. It's hard to see. You can see her blowing. So, piece of cake. Grounding power coming off your fan. I got her mounted up over top there so it hits like the whole fan. Looking ghetto, but like I said, I don't compete. Not now anyway. Not with this little bitty system, so I don't care how ghetto it looks as long as it's my fan don't fry. Power and ground coming off. Well, normally you could splice it into your amp there, but since I already got the power and ground from my crossover going in there, I didn't want to add any more wires, so spliced her in there. I put the power from the fan going into the remote and the ground going into the ground. The reason I did that is because the power to the power and ground to ground makes the fan just automatically kick on all the time. But if it's spliced into the remote, then it just comes on when you turn the car on, because I don't want my fan running all the time. So thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and you know I'll be back.